The war began on a cold autumn morning. The sky was painted a pale gray. The air carried a biting chill. The people of Earth had known peace for centuries. That peace was shattered when the first alien fleet descended from the heavens. They came without warning. Their ships blotted out the sun. Their weapons tore through Earth's defenses with precision and ease. Humanity was unprepared. Their armies were scattered. Their leaders were silenced. Panic swept across the globe like wildfire. Cities burned. Refugees fled. Entire nations fell within days. Yet amidst the chaos and despair, a spark of hope ignited. It started small, a handful of survivors banded together. They scavenged, they planned, they fought back. The aliens called themselves the Zarkan. They were a proud and ancient race. They believed themselves superior. They viewed humanity as weak. They were wrong. Humanity's strength lay not in its technology or its numbers. It lay in its spirit, in its will to survive, in its unyielding defiance. In the ruins of New York City, a young woman named Sarah emerged as a leader. She was a mechanic before the invasion. Now she was a warrior. She had seen her family killed. She had seen her home destroyed. She vowed to fight until her last breath. She gathered survivors. She taught them how to build weapons from scraps. She showed them how to strike the Zarkan where it hurt. The resistance spread like a virus. From the ashes of fallen cities, new fighters arose. They carried crude but deadly weapons. They wore armor fashioned from scavenged materials. They struck the Zarkan with a ferocity that took the invaders by surprise. The Zarkan had underestimated their prey. In a hidden bunker deep beneath the Appalachian Mountains, Sarah met with other resistance leaders. They were men and women from all walks of life. A former general, a school teacher, a farmer, an engineer. They shared stories of victories and losses. They planned their next move. They knew they could not win a war of attrition. They needed something more. The engineer spoke of a device. It was theoretical. It was dangerous. It was humanity's last hope. The device would harness the raw energy of the Earth's core. It would create a weapon unlike anything the Zarkan had ever seen. But building it would take time. It would take resources. It would take sacrifices. Sarah volunteered to lead a team to retrieve the materials needed. The mission was perilous. They had to venture into Zarkan-occupied territory. They faced patrols, drones, traps, but they were resourceful. They were determined. They succeeded. The device was completed in a secret facility. It was a masterpiece of ingenuity and desperation. The resistance prepared for the final battle. They knew the odds were against them. They knew many of them would not survive. But they also knew they had no other choice. The day of reckoning arrived. The Zarkan fleet gathered above the ruins of Washington, D.C. Their leader broadcast a message to the scattered remnants of humanity. Surrender, accept subjugation, or face annihilation. Sarah stood before a crowd of resistance fighters. She raised her weapon. She spoke with a voice that carried across the desolate landscape. We are humanity. We will not kneel. We will not surrender. We will fight. We will endure. We will prevail. The resistance launched their assault. They fought with everything they had. They fought with weapons. With fists, with fire. The Zarkan were relentless. Their ships rained destruction. Their soldiers advanced with cold precision. But the resistance pressed on. Sarah and her team reached the facility housing the device. They activated it. A brilliant light pierced the sky. The ground trembled. The air grew heavy with energy. The Zarkan fleet above began to falter. Their ships malfunctioned. Their weapons failed. The device unleashed a wave of power that engulfed the sky. It struck the Zarkan fleet with devastating force. Ships exploded. Soldiers were incapacitated. The tide of battle turned. Humanity had found its weapon. The Zarkan retreated. Their once proud fleet was in ruins. Their confidence was shattered. The survivors of Earth stood victorious. They had faced fire and fury. They had endured unimaginable loss. Yet they had triumphed. Sarah looked to the horizon. The world was scarred. The cost had been immense. But humanity's greatest gift had shone through. Its resilience, its unity, its unyielding will. She knew the fight was not over. The Zarkan would return, but she also knew humanity would be ready. Through fire and fury, humanity had proven its worth. It had risen from the ashes. It had reclaimed its place among the stars. The war had forged a new era, an era of strength, an era of hope, an era of humanity. The story of their defiance would be told for generations. It would be a reminder of what they could achieve together. The aftermath of the battle was both triumphant and somber. The Zarkan fleet had been decimated, their retreat marked by trails of broken ships and abandoned ground forces. Yet the scars on Earth ran deep. Cities were reduced to rubble. Ecosystems were devastated. Millions were gone. The survivors faced the daunting task of rebuilding not just their homes, but their spirits. Sarah stood atop a hill overlooking the ruins of what was once Washington, D.C. The sky above, though still gray with the remnants of smoke and ash, seemed brighter than it had in months. The light of hope pierced through the gloom. Survivors gathered around makeshift camps. They shared stories of their losses. They spoke of their victories. They planned for the future. The resistance leadership convened in a repurposed government bunker. Discussions were tense. The Zarkan had retreated, but they were far from defeated. Recon teams reported that some alien forces had remained behind. Scattered groups of Zarkan soldiers roamed the wastelands. They were gathering intelligence, testing humanity's resolve. "We can't rest," the former general said, his voice firm but weary. "We've won a battle, not the war. They'll be back, stronger, smarter, more prepared." Sarah nodded. She felt the weight of the general's words. They all did. "Then we need to prepare too," she said. "We've proven we can fight. Now we need to prove we can rebuild. We'll reclaim our land. We'll strengthen our defenses. We'll show them that humanity doesn't just survive. It thrives." Work began immediately. The survivors formed teams. Engineers worked tirelessly to repair what could be salvaged. Scientists studied the remnants of Zarkan technology. They hoped to unlock its secrets. Farmers and laborers returned to the land, planting the seeds of recovery. Artists and writers began documenting the story of the invasion. They created murals and songs that honored the fallen and inspired the living. Months turned into years. Humanity rebuilt itself. The scars of the invasion remained, but they were a reminder of their resilience. The resistance transformed into a united global force. Borders dissolved. Old rivalries were set aside. Humanity stood together as one. The engineers succeeded in reverse engineering Zarkan technology. They developed weapons and defenses far beyond what Earth had possessed before the invasion. They built ships capable of traversing the stars. They prepared for the inevitable return of their enemy. The day finally came. Zarkan ships appeared on the edge of the solar system. They were larger, more advanced. Their intent was clear. They had come to finish what they had started. This time, humanity was ready. The United Fleet launched from Earth. It met the Zarkan forces in orbit around Jupiter. The battle was fierce. It was unlike anything humanity had ever faced. But they fought with a determination born of fire and fury. Sarah commanded one of the lead ships. She directed her crew with precision. She inspired them with her unshakable resolve. The battle raged for hours. Both sides suffered heavy losses, but humanity's ingenuity and spirit gave them the edge. The tide turned when a team of Earth's most skilled pilots executed a daring maneuver. They infiltrated the Zarkan flagship. They planted a device similar to the one that had saved Earth in the first invasion. The flagship was destroyed in a brilliant explosion. The remaining Zarkan ships retreated. Humanity had won again. This time, the victory was decisive. The Zarkan Empire, once a symbol of dominance, was now humbled. They sent envoys to negotiate peace. They acknowledged humanity's strength. They offered an alliance. Years later, Sarah walked through a bustling city that had risen where rubble once stood. Children played in the streets. Traders exchanged goods. Artists painted murals of the battles that had defined their generation. A young girl approached Sarah. She held a small flower. its petals bright against the backdrop of the city. The girl looked up with wide, curious eyes. Are you the one who saved us? Sarah knelt. She took the flower gently. No, she said. We all saved each other. Humanity's greatest gift had not been its weapons. It had not been its technology. It had been its spirit, its ability to rise above despair, to unite in the face of annihilation, to rebuild from ashes, to forgive, to create, to hope. Through fire and fury, humanity had proven its worth, not just to the stars, but to itself.